Hi there, welcome back to Whiskey and Wit. I'm Whitney, and today we're doing not one but two Dollar Tree Halloween DIYs, so stay tuned. The two projects we're doing today are one, these framed Halloween prints that look like they came from like a paper source or somewhere way more high-end than Dollar Tree. And then the second item, I'm so happy with how this turned out. This Hocus Pocus sign with the Sanderson sisters up here. Don't get me started on this. Love Hocus Pocus. I can't believe how long it's been out as I date myself. Not sure what's gotten into me because I usually say I'm not a big Halloween person, but this year, maybe because I'm wanting to create content for my channel, I'm like finding all these cute Halloween things that I want to DIY. First, let's start with how I made these framed prints. I grabbed 3 wood grain frames from the Dollar Tree and then also some different Halloween and Thanksgiving cards from the card section. So step 1, unpackage your frames and then pop off the backs for everything. If you've got nice nails, definitely use a screwdriver. The smaller signs I was able to pop right in and they fit perfectly. That was the owl and this Happy Halloween sign. That's it. So stinking simple, but they're so cute and they look like really high-end prints. Now for these larger cards, I had to take the 5x7 insert and cut out the cards because they were a little too big for those frames. They were a little too small for the 8x10 frames, but I went ahead and cut it and stuck it in there. And then I also stuck the Thanksgiving print behind the Halloween print, so then it's easy to just swap it out after October 31st. Then the month of November, we'll have the Thanksgiving print. So I popped that in there, popped the back on, and that they're so simple, but that looks like something you grab from Paper Source, and really it's a $2 DIY. Those smaller ones, it was a $1.50 DIY because each card was 50 cents. These bigger ones were $1, but Hallmark cards at the Dollar Tree for the win. They're also great for cards, but I saw these and thought, you know, I think this could be a great decor piece. I also have used it in my guest room and I just love this. Next, moving on to this Hocus Pocus sign. I am obsessed with this sign, and like I mentioned before, I'm not a big Halloween person, but I was so excited to make this and share it with you guys. So the first thing I did was take a beware sign and pop off the tag. Then I used some wood filler from the Dollar Tree to fill the holes because I wasn't going to hang this sign and I didn't want them to have awkward holes. Once that dries, I sanded it down a little bit and then I hit this with 3 coats of Waverly chalk paint. You can also use acrylic paint if you have that. Once that dried, I applied my Ormas stencil and I just went ahead and rolled it on. I usually use transfer tape, but I decided to do this roll-on method instead because I didn't want the transfer tape to just rip off all that chalk paint from the cheap Dollar Tree sign that I had. This part I created myself. It's just a bunch of Hocus Pocus. I will link that down below so you can make it and use it for yourself. Then I went through with some black paint and did an up and down dabbing motion. Make sure not to pull it side to side as you would typically when painting, just because that's going to really get it underneath the stencil and it's going to look terrible when you go to pull it off. I did 2 coats of the black paint and then I pulled it off once it was dry and removed all the little bits. And then what I went ahead and did is I added some additional paint to it because I accidentally kind of went outside the lines, but it worked out because it really made it extra spooky. Now these files I cut out in vinyl and I got them from a shop on Etsy. I will link that down below for you, but that's it. That's how simple it was to make this sign, and I think it is so adorable. I love it, and really for me it was scrap vinyl, so this was about a $1 project if you don't include the stencil. And there you have it. If you don't have a Cricut, I know I do a lot of projects where I use my Cricut, but don't let that scare you. You can buy a lot of these items on Etsy, pre-cut with the transfer tape on it. You don't have to do the work, but they'll send it to you. Also, I know I've mentioned this before, but I do have a video with how I made a Cricut version of a sign, and then also a way that you can use sheets that are printed out from your printer and then just some Mod Podge, especially if the sign is white. So you could totally do that here. You would just cut, you know, it's just a bunch of Hocus in one section and Pocus in another section. So if you're interested in me doing another one of those DIYs, leave a comment down below and I will kind of incorporate that for Christmas time. But like I said, do not let the fact that you don't have a Cricut scare you, because you can do a lot of these things just by printing these out, and that's why I like to share the PNGs down below, so then that way you can have the fonts that I use and recreate this with just some paper and Mod Podge instead of vinyl. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, hit subscribe down below because I've got a ton of new stuff coming. I'm so excited for Christmas DIYs. I'm about to go do some more after I film this video, so stay tuned for that. But until that video, I will see you guys next time. Bye!